Okay, so we are recording now, and I think we can start. People can keep joining in. So, Sanjana, like, can you talk about your journey and like how you participated in Flipkart Runway and how the whole experience was?
Yeah, sure. So I got to know about Flipkart Runway through my college placement cell. So usually most of the colleges get their info about the Flipkart Runway or any other event which is mainly focused towards boosting girls in STEM. So that is usually informed through college placement cell. So that is how I got to know about the Flipkart Runway season 1. So since it was the first cohort of the season, we were the first, set of people who were participating in that. So we didn't have any prior, guidance from any of our seniors because that was the first season where we were participating. So usually, the first experience which I had of Flipkart Runway, the whole journey from the test to the internship offer, it was very smooth. The HR and the organizers of Flipkart Runway are very approachable. They are very good, and you can always drop an email, and they will always revert back to you. So that is one positive thing I got to know. And likely like similar to all other programs which are launched for women, like we have Uber She Plus Plus, and then we have Google Step. Flipkart was also launched on similar grounds where we provide opportunities to second year students, second year girls specifically, to explore the domain of SDE and data science, and give them the early career boost and exposure to how actually the real life problems are solved and how a corporate works. Because in college we usually are restricted with a limited number of people and get a limited number of experiences, and whatever, like we most of you must have done projects, and I also did projects in my first year and second year. So that are actually quite different from how projects, the flow of projects go on in an actual company, where first a POC project, a proof of concept is launched, and then we debate on that, we check various possibilities whether it's feasible, and then actual working of the project starts at a very later stage. So these are with an aim of giving that platform to all second year girls to boost them and inspire them to uh, actually pursue SDE as a future career option. Flipkart Runway was launched with that aim. So, a brief intro about Flipkart Runway will be: it is an opportunity, an internship opportunity hiring challenge that firstly provides, internship to second year students. And if you perform quite well, you can also get a pre internship offer to intern back with Flipkart in third year, as in summer intern or a winter intern. And the best thing I found about Flipkart Runway was that even if you don't qualify for a second year internship, you can always come back in the third year internship as a third year intern through a further interview process. So the basic process of how the Flipkart Runway works is: initially you have a small quiz, a challenge sort of. I think you guys have your season 2 challenge on 27th. A brief, introduction about that is: it's a 30 to 35-minute challenge, comprises mostly of about, I think so, 30 to 35 questions, which are MCQ based. So once you qualify that challenge, I think last time we had a cutoff of 28. So you had to get 28 out of 35 to actually qualify for the second round. So I think the cutoff will be pretty much similar this year also. So you have a MCQ based quiz. Once you qualify that quiz, you have a statement of purpose. So basically, it's a sort of an essay type where you share your life experiences, whatever you have learned, what were your greatest challenges, what were your greatest drawbacks, achievements, and then a simple solution to a real life e-commerce problems. So we face a lot of e-commerce problems in many sectors, like shopping sector, or maybe any other sector which is related to e-commerce. So any idea which has crossed your mind in any point of life, or you felt that that was a problem and you have a solution to clear out that problem in e-commerce, you need to write that. So what SOP is not like, it is not something that you need to qualify, or you're not graded or something like that. There is no cutoff of SOP. So SOP is basically what is sent to your interviewer, the one who will be interviewing your first round of Flipkart Runway. So that interviewer reads your SOP before the interview, and also while taking your interview, he interacts with you on the basis of whatever you have written in your SOP. And I believe, although they said that the SOP, whatever you write, didn't matter, but I think the students who were selected were also selected on the basis that they had actual solution to e-commerce problems, and the SOP was quite catchy. So the interviewer remembered, that okay, this solution was suggested very uniquely and should be, applied in Flipkart. So Flipkart does. One thing I found very good about Flipkart was that they took the SOPs really seriously. Some of the problems were actually implemented. So my SOP, I just like to share. So my SOP, in my SOP, I shared a solution of AR based, AR based trial of clothes or furniture and all. So that was actually implemented by Flipkart, and I got uh, a sort of email from them saying that they really liked my idea and they are actually going to implement this AR based thing in Flipkart. So that is, that way you are actually making an impact on the e-commerce industry, and Flipkart is giving a platform for that. So that is really good. So if any of you guys, your SOP is selected for actually getting implemented in Flipkart or any e-commerce industry, that is really a very good achievement. You can also mention it in your resume, and that will be quite catchy. So after the SOPs, you have your first round of interview. So in first round of interviews, you usually have easy to medium CP questions, competitive programming questions. You can I think preparing from interview bit or lead code will be more than enough to qualify that round, with flying colors and very good marks. So I would suggest that for the first round, I think you mainly focus on interview bit, and after, if you finish interview bit, you can always go ahead and practice more questions in lead code. So after first round of interview, the results come out, and students are usually divided into three halves. The excellent performers are the one who are given internship in the second year of college itself. That is, in your second year of summers, you are given an internship with Flipkart. And the intermediate performance are the one that performed also quite well but missed the hiring the hiring cutoff with just maybe a point 0.5 or 0.25 or half marks. So they are the one that are given extra preparation boost and are called again for interview when Flipkart hires for third year summer winter internship. And the last set of people are the one who miss the margin with the miss the cutoff with a long margin, but they are also given many courses and many guidance and many sessions are carried out for them to prepare for third year internship, and they can always apply back to Flipkart. So this is the first round. In the first round, usually you get the second year of internship. So if you qualify that, and once you get into Flipkart in your second year of internship, you are divided into lots of projects. You get a choice of what project you like to work on, and they're very flexible with that. You can do whatever you like to do, and there are always people to help you out. So after your project completes in second year, you have a sort of a project based interview where they interact with you. What did you learn from the projects? What were what things did you achieve? What were the difficulties you got? On the basis of that, they provide you a PIO, a pre-internship offer, to intern again with Flipkart in third year of summers. This is the set of people who were accepted in the second year internship. Now, the second batch of people who did not get into the second year of internship are usually called back in the month of in May and June, where you have the second round of interview, which is for so these people undergo a second round of interview where the questions are again CP based, but this time the level of questions is a bit hard. It is medium to hard. Lead code, interview with questions. Again, if you prepare from interview with lead code and a bit of GFG, I think that is more than enough. So if you qualify the second round of interviews, you are offered an internship, a summer or winter internship with Flipkart in your third year of internship. So this is one of the unique qualities of Flipkart Runway. It is not leaving you out if you don't qualify the first round. You can always sit for the second round, and I think most of the people who sat for the second round were accepted as interns. So that is a very really good process they had, that you were given a chance to improve yourself and again come back in the second round. Also, the entire session of Flipkart Runway is quite interactive. The HRs are quite interactive. You'll have many fun sessions. In the fun sessions, they have quiz type of questions where they'll ask you random questions, and then you'll given gift cards of Flipkart, which you can spend and have fun. So that is quite good thing. And the overall, I would like to say, the overall experience of Flipkart Runway, I found was, I think, 90% better than any other programs that are open for women, because again you have a second chance to come back, an improved version of yourself. You can always come back and show that you have improved since the last interview. And the people are quite helpful, the HRs are quite interactive. They always motivate you, so that is the, I think, best thing about Flipkart. So that is all from my side about Flipkart Runway. I'd be happy if you guys can ask any questions or queries you have, and I'll answer that. So how to prepare core CS subjects in the left? Okay, yes. So that I forgot to discuss. Thank you, Ravina, for asking. So the type of questions which are asked in the quiz. So as I mentioned, is MCQ. So most questions are language independent, that you don't have to know a particular programming language to attempt that questions. So they are basically CS fundamental, OOPS question, networking, DBMS, a bit of programming questions, which is, I think, mostly the algo based. No, you don't need to know the syntax of a particular programming language to attempt that question. You can always, if you have the basic understanding of the pseudocode, I think you are very good to attempt that question. So these were the overall gist of the questions that were asked. And now, how to prepare for these CS subjects? I think the best thing for you guys will be, now since you have around 5 to 6 days left, you prepare from GFG. I think GFG will be the best platform at this time now to prepare for any MCQ based questions. You can always type subject wise, like networking questions in GFG, and you'll get a bunch of questions. You can practice them and give MCQ based quizzes and all. Everything, I think, is available in internet. So I think GFG and tutorials point would be the best places to prepare for all the mentioned CS subjects now.
Hey Sanjana, can you just tell us which CS fundamentals were asked, like what all did they cover in them?
Sorry, can you repeat your question?
So, which CS fundamental, like which coursework were asked? Like, was it OOPS, OS, DBMS, or was there something else too?
Oh, so the main questions were based on OOPS, networking, DBMS, operating systems, and basic pseudocode, like loop structures and all, time complexity. So these were the main questions asked. I think OOPS, time complexity, algo-based questions had the most part. Networking and DBMS comprised of, I think, 5 to 6 questions from there. So these were, I think, these are, if you guys prepare these topics, I think you can pass the cutoff with like very nice marks. I think getting 31, 32 out of 35 will be very easy. So Kashyas asked, would be able to traverse to the question. Yes, so in my time, the I think this time also the quiz is in Dare to Compete platform. So first of all, Dare to Complete does not have any proctoring, neither it has any complex, interface. So it is very easy to, traverse from one question to another. And I think the 30-minute timer isn't restricted to any question. You will have a tab in the side where you can see the questions you have attempted, the questions which you're doubtful, and the questions which are unattempted. So yes, you can traverse through all the questions. So Ritika has an SOP when we write the problem in server, we should be able to implement the server, just the idea of the. Okay, so SOP, in SOP, I think the idea of the solution is very is more than enough, but do take care in mind that write a solution which you actually feel that needs to be solved. A solution to a problem that actually needs to be solved, because if you are selected for the internship with Flipkart, I think that the first choice you will be given is that would you like to implement the idea which you have written in your SOP. And I think that is one of the greatest, what to say, a happiness you have when you get the opportunity to implement something which you have suggested. So if uh, so I would suggest write something in SOP. Don't just copying from net that okay, this was a e-commerce problem and these were the solutions suggested. Take a problem from the net. Even if you're not aware of any e-commerce problem, you can always search through Google and get any e-commerce problem, and then think on a solution which you would like to devise. And I think that best thing is that if you can come up with your own solution, because again, if you are selected, I think you will be given an opportunity to implement that, and I think that will be the best thing that can happen. So or during the uh I don't think so. They asked, as far as I remember, they did not ask for resume uh, during the registration. I think you're asked for the resume only after your quiz. When you're selected, you get a form where you have to upload your resume, all your details, your interview schedule preferences. There you need to add your resume. So before that, you can always prepare a very good resume. You can approach your college seniors or any other people in LinkedIn. They'll be happy to help you to prepare a very good resume. You can also get your resume verified from your college seniors or any other connections in LinkedIn. And people are really very approachable in any platform. You can always ask them and they'll point out the pros and cons in your resume, and you can get a very good resume build that will be catchy to the eyes. Yes, you can go back to the questions which you have attempted. As I mentioned, you can traverse through all the questions, get back to the questions which you have attempted, see the questions which you haven't attempted, change the answers. Anything can be done. The interface is quite interactable. Where the questions from networking are also based on numerical. No, the questions in networking DBMS OS were not numerical type questions. They were mostly like true and false question or some statements, fill in the blanks type of questions. Also, I forgot to mention another important topic. Computer architecture is also asked. So mention note that computer architecture questions are also asked, where you need to calculate the size of the cache, or the cache size is given, and you need to calculate the latency and all. So these like small questions are given. You Small numerical type questions, I don't think so even you need a calculator for that. Verbal questions, all these things can be prepared from GFG. I think GFG has more than enough resources, at least for this 1 week's time. Asked whether these are questions or deeper. I think the questions were mixed. Questions were mixed. There were very easy questions also, there were medium questions, and there were some tough questions also. I think the quiz was very well balanced. It wasn't the questions are very easy so that everyone could attempt that, or very hard that no one could attempt. So it was well balanced. Again, it what mattered was the speed. If you were able to attempt the questions in the required speed, because since the time is 30 minutes and the questions are 30 to 35, so obviously if you're going to solve all the questions, at least, or see all the questions, you need to solve at a rate of 1 minute per question. And I think the questions are made such that they took your 1 minute of time. Some questions took 30 to 40 seconds, but I think majority questions took 1 minute of time. So manage your time accordingly, don't waste any time, because the number of participants are more and the competition is quite tough. So it might happen that you might not clear the cutoff just because you could not attempt one single question. So keep that in mind, and do at a very fast pace, but keep a cool mind. See the question properly, see all the options, mark the correct options. I have seen most of the students, knowing the correct answer and then nervously marking the wrong answers. So don't, because the options are quite similar. It happens the options are quite similar. So see properly and solve anything you guys can do quite well. So completely incontrovertible. No, I don't think so. The time taken to complete the test was taken into consideration. All the students who cleared the cutoff, be it they solved in 20 minutes or 25 or 30 minutes, all the students who cleared the cutoff were qualified for the next round. Is there negative mark? No, there isn't any negative marking. If you attempt a question and that is completely correct, you are given full marks. Otherwise, for unattempted questions or questions that you have left as guest questions, you are not given any marks.
Sanjana, can you just tell us like how many people progress from quiz round to the next level?
Okay. There were 14,000 students who gave the first quiz round. So out of 14,000 students, only 154. Okay, so as far as I remember, 14,000 students registered for the first round of quiz, out of which 9,000 students had actually attempted the quiz in the given window of time. And from there, 154 students were qualified for the next round. And since I think this was the first cohort, only 154 students were qualified for the next round of interview, or the first round of interview after quiz. This year, I think, as far as I have got the info and the insights from the Flipkart team, I think they are planning to increase the number from somewhere to 250 to 300 students qualifying the first round, from the quiz to the first round of interview. So I guess you guys have a fair chance. So out of 9,000 students, I perceive that 9,000 students will also be attempting the quiz this year. Then out of which 300 students will go to the next round.
Okay. Like, would you like to suggest some resources from where people should prepare for the quiz?
I think the best thing would be now would be, since you have just 5 to 6 days left, I think the best thing will be GFG interview bit. And you can go to interview bit, and there is a section on OOPS, networking, DBMS, OS. Go and attempt all the MCQ questions which are given over there, MCQ and descriptive questions. So I think interview bit and GFG are the best resource, best friends you can have right now in preparing. Just type the name of the topic, you'll get a bunch of questions. Prepare, attempt whatever. If you're having any doubt, discuss with your college seniors or anyone has prior experience in that. And I think GFG, interview bit, and lead code are more than enough for preparing for the quiz on 27th. So
Hello,
Nandita,
the
hi Pavandeep.
Didi. Actually, in our college, we are not yet taught the subjects like DBMS, networking, computer architecture. Although within in past 4 to 3 days, I have completed some of the subjects. But is it possible that if we are not able to do networking and computer architecture due to the time constraint, and just doing the MCQs from Geeks for Geeks and trying to understand the important topics to cover the Flipkart and like the questions and the MCQs?
Yeah, I think because again, I also had the same problem since I'm in electronics and communications. So these networking, these topics were in there when I was in my second year of college. After I took my minors in third year in computer science, these subjects came into picture. So I think the best thing is that for these 3 to 4 days, you can go to interview bit and read briefly about these topics, just briefly, no need to go into the depth of these concepts, just briefly read about that, and after that move to GFG and attempt all the questions. If you're not able to understand few questions, search a bit. If you're not able to search, you don't get enough info, or you're not able to understand that, just try remembering that, because I think, just a second, I think most of the questions were not not so deep, like deep level concepts in DBMS or OOPS. They were usually concept based, not even concept. They were fact based. So if you know about that, you can attempt that. So I think the best thing will be just read in interview bit a little bit about them, and then attempt questions in GFG.
So, like, what I wanted to ask is like the questions were not deep enough, and even if we go through the topics like during the last 2 to 3 days, are we able to complete them?
I think yes, you will be able to complete, because the questions usually revolved on the basics. So if you are able to quickly run through the basics, I think you will be able to attempt the questions.
Okay, thank you, Didi.
You're welcome.
I guess there was a question in the chat. What was the total number of questions last year?
Okay, so the total number of questions last year were 35 questions, as far as remember. So 30 questions were these, based on CS fundamentals. Five questions are like, fun questions, where they are based on recent, purchases by Flipkart, if Flipkart has acquired any company or not. Like we had questions where like, is Mintra under, which of the companies are under Flipkart? So I think five to six five questions were about basic Flipkart, like Flipkart knowledge, how much do you know about Flipkart. I would also suggest you just go briefly about recent news about Flipkart, because I think so they were quite happy with the students who attempted those five questions very completely, because they got the idea that these people are really into Flipkart, and they are following Flipkart, following every step, so they know about recent purchases or things related to Flipkart. So just take a brief view. I think once you scroll through LinkedIn, follow Flipkart and scroll through LinkedIn, I think you will get the most of the important information. Possible questions can be asked from there, so just read about Flipkart a bit. And the total questions were 35. So it is individual participation, it's not a team participation, because it's not something like a hackathon or something. It's just a hiring challenge quiz, and after that you have your interview, so it's individual participation.
So, if I'm right, like you were asked to write SOP. So, would you say like SOP played some role in your selection process for the, uh, I mean, the routes which were there?
Yeah. So although they mentioned that SOP was just to know the candidates more, but since the SOPs were sent to the interviewer and HR, so I think once the HR and interviewer read SOPs, the SOPs were which had very good experiences shared, or had very good solution to any e-commerce problem. I think that students were on a bit of advantage, uh, although obviously your interview performance mattered a lot. But I think even if your interview performance was a little bit okay, but your SOPs were quite good, you explained the problem completely, and the solution to that quite uniquely. I think the interviewer the interviewer had really caught an eye on you, and they were very impressed with that. And and automatically, if the interviewer is impressed with you, they give a good feedback to the HR, and then your hiring chances are increased. So I think take your SOPs quite seriously, find out a good e-commerce problem, and give a unique solution to that. And I think that will always be a positive point, a plus point, as far as selection is concerned.
So you had like one-on-one discussion with your interviewer regarding to SOP, not like a group discussion or something,
Yeah,
right?
so it is a one discussion. So it usually happens in your first round of interviews. In the first round of interviews around 1 hour. So 40 minutes you will have 2 to 3 CP based questions asked to you, and after that 20 minutes, around 20 minutes, you have discussion on your SOP. Resume is not discussed anywhere. Resume is just for uploading. Resume isn't discussed, and I think it is not as of now it is not discussed in any interview process. It is usually discussed once you get into the company and start working. So your managers usually ask what you know about that, and then your resume is verified and all. So I think the main thing which you can clearly introduce you, or give a boost to you, is your SOP right now. So make a very good SOP once you have a chance, and I think that will be more than enough. So how much do we get for an interview after the online round? So I guess you have around last time we had around 1 month after the online challenge to prepare for interviews. So you always have your preferences. You can add preferences, like if you want your interview to be late, you can always mail the HR, and they're very very liberal in scheduling the interview timings. But around 25 to 25 days to 1 month you have after the online round for your interviews. So what are we supposed to mention? Like we mentioned problems and solutions, something like background of the problem, detailed description too. So the SOP is divided into three parts. First is a brief introduction about yourself. Second is your drawbacks, achievements, or any other hardships you faced in your life. A very genuine, genuine description of what you have faced in your life. And lastly, to describe a e-commerce problem in detail, and a overall idea or a solution to that problem. So you don't have to give a background of the problem, because e-commerce problems are quite relevant nowadays. Just a brief description of the problem, that this is the problem that exists, and this is the solution which I feel can be implemented to solve this so and so mentioned problem. So word limit. Yes, so the word limit is 700 to 800 words, but obviously they are very liberal in that. It's not an essay competition. So you can always, write 1,000 word limit SOP, but then don't keep it too long, because again it'll bore the interviewer, because interviewers are very busy. They won't have time to read to your whole SOP if it is quite long. So keep it short, crispy. No, you don't. You cannot include links and images, just words. So it's just a written word without any graphics or links or images. Just a simple essay of 700 to 800 words. You can extend it up to 1,000.
Sanjana, what would you recommend when you say that you should write like the problems and the solution related to e-commerce? Um, what do you think? Like people should also write how they are thinking to implement it, or how which technologies can be used, or should it be theoretical? Like what makes a good essay according to you?
Oh, so since you guys are in your second year of college, mostly if you are writing an SOP, so they don't expect you to give a proof of concept of the solution which you are implementing, like what technologies you're going to. That isn't expected of you. If you write that, that is very well and good, because that will give you they'll get an idea that you have everything ready. You're just in a rush to implement it. But then that we definitely won't be the criteria to not select a person who has just given a theoretical solution. So what is asked of you is to actually write a theoretical solution, but a clear idea of what kind of solution you would like to suggest to solve that particular problem. So for example, for just a simple e-commerce problem, like why are people shifting to online shopping so much? Ask in concern of elderly people. So elderly people usually find it very difficult to walk to shops or go to different places and do shopping and all. But then to keep that lively boost in them, people give them gifts and all and anything. So that is what people are very much, elderly people are getting inclined nowadays towards online shopping, because they can get the things they like, even just sitting in their home, and they don't have to go to places and all. But then elderly people have many fitting issues. They don't get the idea of what kind of things would suit, or what kind of things they like. So again, in that, a solution to that came the AR concept, the augmented reality concept, where people can try on products from their mobile. Just suppose you need to try a watch. So obviously, if there is augmented reality, you can keep your hand and switch on the camera, and then that watch will come, and then you can see how the watch is looking on you. So that was that really attracted people from all ages, not only elderly people. Children were attracted, and that increased the sales of companies many times, many folds. So this was one of the problems in e-commerce, where you know the
The
yeah,
this AR is used by Lenskart also, right? Where
yeah,
we can
AR
try
is used by
different lenses.
Lenskart also.
Yes, okay.
So yes, on the similar concept, you can always mention existing solution, but how you are going to implement that in Flipkart. So that also they find really really catchy, that you can always take up an existing concept and give your unique idea on how you can actually make use of that concept in the existing Flipkart infrastructure. Non technical solution too. So usually, since it is you're applying for a data science or an SD intern position, obviously the solution expected is technical, should have any technical touch to it. Although if you are able to provide a non-technical solution, I don't think so that should be a problem. But I would advise go for technical solutions that will show you how you think logically to solve a particular existing industrial problem.
So, would you say that all the skills that we write, they can be some incremental feature that you should suggest based on some research or some observation, or something, some improvement over the existing features, right?
Yeah, so I think you guys can suggest on both grounds some new improvement on the existing feature that will solve a e-commerce problem. Like a slight change might bring a big difference in the e-commerce industry. You can always do that, or you can always suggest a unique, completely different, unattached, completely new solution to any of the existing problems. So you can always think in both the grounds, and improvement or to the existing solution, or a completely new solution. But or both the solutions should be able to solve the problem which you are mentioning. If that fails to solve the problem, I think the purpose of SOP would fail. So keep more focus on that. Spend a day or two, discuss with people who are in e-commerce industry, any of your brothers, sister, any seniors working in Flipkart, Amazon, Snapdeal, or any other company. And I think they'll be able to give you better insights on that, because since they have been working, they are they get to know new challenges every day. They face new challenges every day. So you can always discuss with them, approach people on LinkedIn, and I think give a day or two thinking on the problem and the approach and the solution. And I think that would make a very good SOP.
Okay, I think all the questions are answered. If anyone want to ask something else, please feel free to ask. You can open up your mic. You can leave your queries in the chat box. So if you want to ask anything else, please do. Otherwise, I think we can wrap this session.
I wanted to ask, it's a paid internship, right?
Yeah, it's a paid internship. So in your second year of internship, you get 50,000 per month. So it's a 2 month internship, summer intern. So you get 50,000 per month. Plus, if it's an offline internship, since in our time it was online internship due to COVID. So if you have offline internship, you get additional many perks. You get 15 days accommodation in Bangalore. Along with that, you get your travel expenses to travel in and out of Bangalore. You get that expenses. You get your medical reimbursements, and you also get 2200 coupon every month for your meals in Flipkart. And Flipkart has a very good cafeteria, so you can always have your 3 time meals in Flipkart itself. So yes, apart from 50,000, these are the additional perks you get. And in your third year of internship, the stipend is 1 lakh per month. And again, all the other benefits, the medical reimbursements, the travel expenses, 15 days accommodation in a 5-star hotel, everything is additional to that. It is given separately. And your meal charges, that 2200 coupon you get every month. And then from the place you're living to the Flipkart campus, you have a daily transport services. So I think most of your stipend is left with you only. There is hardly any other additional expense, because everything else is covered by Flipkart itself. So I think for second year and third year students, it's a very good earning opportunity. You'll have your own earned money for the first time, and I think you can be very proud of that. Yeah, so this is the compensation. So we have some questions. What were the topics asked in CP round? So the questions are very varied. So you will have questions from graphs, DP. You'll have mostly, I think graphs was focused. So graphs, stacks, linked list. Prepare these topics. I think focus more on graphs, DP, stacks, and then a bit on focus on arrays, linked list, maps. I think everything which is go to interview bit, each topic which is mentioned in interview bit, I think take up all that topics. You will get at least same or similar questions or interview bit type only in the not in the quiz, in the interview round. What rating questions can we expect in interviews? 900,000 or higher? I don't think so. You'll be asked question of 900,000 rating. They will be much more than that. The minimum, I think, low in the first round of interview, the lower bound of rating of questions would be 1200 and can go up to 1500. And in the second round of interview, you can expect questions of the range 1400 to 1700 rating. I'm not in CV much, like I'm not even started, so it's worth. Yes, it is definitely worth. You have a 1 month time, and I think in 1 month time you can do wonders. Just prepare on CS fundamentals as of now to qualify the quiz round. After that, you will have a lump sum of 1 month, and I think in 1 month you can prepare more than enough. Even if you are not much CP oriented, go for understanding the code more than see. Competitive programming is a bit different from interview based question. Competitive programming involves more more of implement not even implementation, more of logic rather than the way you implement it. But in interview they ask you certain type of questions. If something can be solved from graphs, they expect you to solve that from graph itself. It's not like if you solve in any other way they won't consider a solution. But if, because in interview they test more on how much you know about things, how much you know about data structures, how much you know about graphs, how much you know about the oops fundamentals. They focus that on more rather than just getting a fast solution to the problem. Obviously a correct solution will is worthful, but then how you implement it is more important. So CP is slightly different. So even if you have not started competitive programming on platforms like Codeforces or CodeChef, just start with interview bit, read the topics, do the question. I think that is more than enough for interview. How many rounds are there? So last year we had 1 round for second year internship, and if you were not able to qualify the round, we had a second round of interview which were for the third year summer internship. So in total, throughout process we have 2 rounds of interviews.
And the any advice for first year students like us who want to appear for Flipkart Runway Season 3? How should we start preparing now?
See, since you are in first year students have a lot of time. I think first thing is, don't focus on Flipkart Runway or any other thing. I think start with building your fundamentals, building your basics. Start exploring all these CS fundamental subjects, start reading about them, and once you get to know the basis of things, get into deeper concepts. And then start with once you're clear with the concepts, much in detail about data structures, how they are implemented. After that, you can start doing questions where they use these data structures to solve problems. So I think the you can begin with the theory part, begin with the theory things, learn about things, debate with yourself why this happens, why this is happening, why this is not the correct solution. Go with that, and then after that, I think you can start meanwhile you can also learn any new programming language, because I think once you get to know through three languages, I think you become syntax independent. Any new language which comes to you have very ease in understanding that. So learn new programming languages, get to know the theory part, and then you can start implementing it. Do they
Okay,
have
thank you.
You're welcome. Computer architecture interview. No. So in interviews, only CP based questions, that is, CP based questions are asked. No, in SOP is not something technical. SOP is just to know about you and your thought process. So no questions are asked in SOP. It is just your introduction, your drawbacks, achievements in life, e-commerce problem and its solution. It's just that in SOP. In interviews, they ask you CP question, everything related to DSA. So DSA and algo are the core concepts which are asked in interviews. They don't ask any other thing other than CP based questions, DSA and algo. Computer architecture is only asked in quiz. It is not asked in interviews.
I think all the queries are answered now, and I think we almost touched 1 hour. So thank you so much, Sanjana, for doing this. I know the session. Okay, I think there's one more question. Could you please take that?
Which topic had highest weightage in the quiz? I don't think so any particular topic had the highest weightage. As I said, the quiz was very well prepared, so there were questions from easy to medium to hard, and I think they touched all the topics. But DSA and algo, I think most of the questions involved that. And then other than that, we had, I think the second highest questions were on networking and oops, and then we had DBMS. So you can, and lastly computer architecture. So you can prepare in this sequence: first DSA and algo, then oops and networking, then DBMS, then computer architecture. SOPSs are to be submitted online. Yes, they send you a Google form where you have to enter all your information, and then you have to submit your SOP there only. So you have, I think, around 1 week's time to submit your SOP, and then you can submit that to the Google form. Where there, find the error, input output type questions too. Uh, Input, no, I don't think so there were input output questions, but yes, there were questions like uh, the syntax was, pseudo code was given and you have to predict the type of output. So you can do that. You can prepare that questions where you are given a short snippet of code, and you have to predict the type of output which you are going to get. So prepare pointers as well. So these type of questions are usually concerned with pointers. So you can check on with pointers in C++. You can look into that.
Okay. Um, okay, I think now we have touched the 1 hour mark, and I think we can wrap the session up. I will share your LinkedIn ID with all the people who joined in so that they can reach out to you if they have any specific query and if they want something to be answered. I hope that's not a problem.
Yeah, sure.
Uh,
You can share my LinkedIn ID. I'll be more than happy to answer all the queries.
and thank you so much for doing this, Sanjana. I know the session got pushed like too many times, so sorry for that too. Um, But thank you so much for doing this, and I think it was very helpful, and the session would have been really helpful for the people who are applying for the Flipkart now.
Yeah, thank you so much, Kirti. Thank you for having me, guys. It was really a good session, and you guys were really good with asking questions. So yes, you can always reach me out through email or LinkedIn, and any other platform if we are connected, and I'll be happy to answer your queries.
Just, I think there's one more question from Nandita. She's asking, when do the results come out after the first round?
So I think the results are out within 3 to 4 days. I think max 3 days the results will be out. Usually they mention 24 hours. The results should be out in 24 hours. But then every time they do a bit late in the Dare to Compete platform. So take max 2 to 3 days. After that you'll get your results.
Okay. Thank you so much, and I think I can stop recording now. And yeah, thank you so much for